Begin lying down on your back with legs bent and feet flat to the floor. Just take a few moments to settle and allow the breath to slow. Check around the body to see how you're feeling at this time today. Then bring your right knee into the chest, extend your left leg out along the floor, and we can do a few rotations of the right foot and some extensions and flexions. And then settling back, maintaining gentle pressure away through the left heel, regulating the breath. Holding as you inhale, squeezing a little bit extra on the exhale. And then swapping legs, extending the right foot, bending the left knee. And a few rotations and extensions on the left foot. And then once more, gently pulling down on the left knee, as though you are pulling it down towards your left armpit. And then we can pull down on both knees, full version of Apanasana. One hand top of each shin, keeping the back flat against the floor, particularly avoiding rolling up on the sacrum. And then extending both feet to the ceiling, straightening the legs, pulling the toes down. And then finally we can sit up, come forward onto an all fours position. And then we can begin some cat-cow flexions. Breathing in as you look up, breathing out as you look down, arching the back. Synchronizing movements with the breath. Nice, slow, smooth breaths, perhaps making these soft sounds at the back of the throat for the Ujjayi breath. And we can start to introduce a little bit of backwards and forwards movement with that. You could move the hands forward slightly, inhaling as you move forwards, exhaling as you push or pull the pelvis back towards the heels. Gradually increasing the length, bringing the weight a little bit more forwards on the inhalation, and eventually we'll push all the way back down onto the heels into a child posture. And then pausing in Balasana, child posture, either arms extended or along the sides. And once more settle, bring the body to stillness. And then inhaling to all fours, exhaling to downward facing dog. Inhaling back to all fours, exhaling back to child, and then inhaling coming up to a raised kneeling position, stretching up through the front of the body, exhaling back to child. And we'll repeat that a couple of times. Keeping the breath flowing a little bit longer than the movement for each section. Being aware of all the movements in the body, in the legs, the torso, the arms. Synchronizing breath with movement. And using the breath to slow down the mind as well. I'm going to do a little bit of side stretching here. So bending one knee and moving the hips, the pelvis over into that direction. Stretching down the opposite side of the body. Just doing it again with the breath, nice and slow, feeling out the body. And then stepping forwards with the right foot into a runner's lunge, a little stretch, stepping back to down dog, and forward with the left foot. Finally, step forwards with the right foot to come into a relaxed forward bend. You can allow the knees to bend a little bit. Inhale to the half forward bend, and then coming all the way up. So now a few arm raises with the breath once more. As you inhale, coming up onto the balls of the feet and stretching the arms up. Feeling the spine extending, the waists extending. And then some side stretching, raising the right arm, stretching over to your left. Raising the left arm, stretching over to the right. A couple more times to each side, just slowly increasing the stretch, feeling the ribs separating, the waists extending. Stretching on the exhale. Again, we're still feeling out the body, not pushing too hard. And then stepping back to the front of the mat, a few forward bends. Inhaling as we stretch up. Exhaling as we fold forwards, bending the knees a little bit so we can bring at least the fingertips either side of the feet. Inhaling to a half forward bend, lengthening up the front of the body. Exhaling, full forward bend. Inhaling, coming up through that half forward bend, nice straight back. Exhaling, arms back down to the sides. A couple more times. Folding from the hips. Bending the knees as much as you need really to begin with on the forward fold. One more time, inhaling as you stretch up. Exhaling as you fold forwards. Inhaling a half forward bend and exhaling full forward bend. And we can pause there in Uttanasana, forward bend. Keeping the breath smooth, keeping the muscles of the face relaxed, and stepping back with the right foot into runner's lunge. And this time we'll come into a variation on revolved side angle posture. Left hand on the left knee. Rotate the body to the left. You can keep the left knee on the floor or extend the left leg, pushing back through the heel. You can keep the left hand on the knee or raise the left arm vertically. Breathing into the stretch. Left hand comes back down and we'll step forwards, back to the forward bend. Inhale to the half forward bend. Exhale, full forward bend, and then stepping back with the left foot. You can bring the left knee down, right hand on right knee, rotate the body to the right, stay here or extend the left leg, stay there or extend the right hand up to the ceiling. And then stepping back to downward facing dog, you can go through all fours. Breathing into your downward facing dog. And then we'll bend the left knee, open the left side, take the left knee to the ceiling, left foot over to the opposite wall, stretch it behind you, and then step forwards into another lunge. Come into the other side this time. Rotating the body to the left, arms stretched out. Back to the lunge, step back to down dog. And then stepping forwards, or rather bending the right knee, taking that right knee up, rotating the pelvis, stretch the right foot out behind you, step forwards. You might take 2 or 3 steps to get there. We come into a raised runner and then rotate the body to the right, stretch the arms out horizontally, lift the back knee if you wish. Stepping back once more to downward facing dog. Try and keep the neck in line with the spine. So we come forwards to a straight armed plank. So we can hold this for a little bit. If it gets too strong, put the knees down to the floor. Push back through the heels, rotating the inner thighs upwards. Lowering the knees, coming forwards to upward facing dog. Push back to child. And we'll pause in child, allow the breath to slow. Again, you can take the arms back along the sides if that's more comfortable. Forehead on the floor. So flowing back up to downward facing dog, and then we'll walk forward with both feet to the hands. Inhale to the half forward bend, exhale to the full forward bend. Inhale, coming all the way up. Stretching the arms up. Exhaling back to Tadasana. And then we'll step to one side, feet about legs length. And we'll do a few side stretches. So we're keeping the feet parallel here. Pressing one hand into the hips as we stretch the other arm over to the side. So awareness more of lengthening the upper side rather than compressing the lower side. Do that a few times to each side. And then we're going to move into a triangle posture. So rotating your feet to the right foot pointing to the ends of the mat, left foot in a little bit. And we can breathe into and out of Trikonasana. So we keep the left hand on the hip as you exhale, moving the right hand down the leg. As you move down, maybe looking up towards the ceiling so you can draw your left shoulder back. And then staying at your full extension without overreaching. We can keep the right hand on the shin. We can hold it in a T shape, or perhaps with a brick on the floor, you could place the right hand onto the floor or onto the brick. Bend the front knee to come back up. Rotating the feet to the left this time, and again, moving into the posture with a few breaths. As you exhale, if you can look up, just thinking about keeping that right shoulder back. So there's a rotation happening in the upper body as you exhale and move the arm down the leg. And coming into your preferred position, remembering to keep that lower waist lengthening as well as the upper waist. Inhale to come back up. And we'll take the feet a little bit wider and we'll breathe into Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. So we'll start with the arms raised, and as we exhale, bending the front knee, bringing the arms down to the horizontal position. Inhaling, straightening the leg coming up. Exhaling, lowering the arms, bending the front knee. And then we can hold. Just look back along the left arm to check it's horizontal. Turn the head to look along the front arm. Stretching between the hands, making sure your bent knee is staying over the heel. And we'll do that to the other side. So rotating the left foot points into the mat, right foot in slightly. Beginning with the arms above the head, we exhale as we bend the left knee, bringing the hands down to the horizontal position. Inhaling, straightening the front leg, raising the arms. Doing that a few times. And then holding in the warrior two position. Don't forget to breathe. And we come up with an inhalation. So we'll turn back to the right for Parshvakonasana. So right forearm horizontal on the right leg, and we can just have the left arm vertical if that's easiest for your shoulder, or if it's comfortable for the shoulder, bringing the arm further forwards, palm face down. You can keep the forearm, front forearm on the leg, or bring it down, the hand down onto a brick or the floor. Inhaling to lift back up. Just check that the feet are still in line as you go back down to the left hand side. Again, the right arm can remain vertical, or you can bring it across. Keeping the left knee moving out to the left. You can always use a brick here again. Coming back up on the inhale. So perhaps moving the heels to the rear edge of the mat to keep them in line, and we'll come into a wide-legged forward bend, stretching the arms out and doing a little bit of stretching of the inner thighs. So bending one knee, stretching the opposite leg. Trying to keep the shoulders lower than the hips. So we can keep the hands where they are, or you could always walk the hands from side to side as well. Alternative might be to have the hands holding the ankles. And then we'll come into the full forward bend. Prasarita Padottanasana. Bringing the body down as far as it will comfortably go. Working the hands back, maybe ending with your fingers level with the toes. Bringing the hands forward once more onto the shoulders, hands to the hips, lifting back up with the straight back, and just bringing the feet back together. And finally, for the standing sequence, a tree posture. Lifting the right foot, pressing into the left thigh. Just checking your balance. If you feel that you need to come out, just drop the foot and then start again. And we can keep the hands in the prayer position in front of the heart center, Anjuli Mudra. Or maybe raising the arms, stretching up. You might find that actually helps with the balance. So you're pressing your right foot into the thigh, pressing the thigh into the right foot. Or have the foot below the level of the knee, or have the toes on the floor, heel against the opposite ankle. Just pause in the middle, see how that leaves the body feeling before going on to the second side, raising the left foot, pressing that against the right leg. Raising the arms, stretching up, strong standing leg will help with the balance. Once more, bringing the left foot back to the ground, just pause in Tadasana, and then stepping back to the front of the mat. Inhale as you raise the arms. Exhale, folding forwards, Uttanasana. Inhaling half forward bend. And then we'll step back with both feet straight to a downward facing dog. Bring the knees to the floor. And then lowering down, 8-point contact into a prone position for a Sphinx posture. Elbows under the shoulders. Trying to work the shoulder blades down the back of the rib cage. Breathing into the rib cage. Pushing away through the toes. Keeping the face muscles relaxed. So we push back to all fours, push back up to downward facing dog, getting ready to come into the king pigeon posture. So we just bring the right foot forward, laying it down somewhere behind the left hand, walking back with the left foot. Just lowering as far as you can, and then we can stretch the body forwards. Bringing the hands back under the shoulders and stepping back to downward facing dog. You could just step back to all fours. And then we'll do the other side, bringing the left foot forwards over to the right hand side of the mat behind the right hand. Walk the right foot back. Just pause in the upright position. And then stretching the body out over the front left knee. Hands back under the shoulders, push back to downward facing dog. So knees down to the floor, cross the ankles, sit back. We'll finish with some seated postures. Stretching the legs out, strong legs, feet flexed, coming into Dandasana staff posture. Nice straight back. And then holding the arms horizontally, some stomach strengtheners. Inhale as you lean back. Exhaling as you stretch forwards. Each time you exhale, stretching the hands maybe a little bit further forwards, seeing if you can reach the feet, stretch beyond the feet. As you come back, keep the chest open. And then inhaling, lifting the arms. Exhaling, folding forwards into Paschimottanasana. If you've got a strap, you can place the strap around the feet at this point. Feel free to bend the knees a little bit if you're feeling it on the hamstrings. Gaze point is your feet. Inhaling, lengthening along the front of the body. Exhaling, maybe folding a little bit more into the posture. Coming up on an inhalation. So moving into the seated half twist. So we begin rotating to the left. You can simply hold on to the left knee or bring the elbow around the left knee. Maybe reaching around the knee to grasp the instep of the left foot. And then doing the opposite side, so right foot outside, left leg. You can always keep the left leg stretched out if you can't bend it back to the opposite hip. And again, easing as far as is comfortable for you into the twist. Remember, it's how far you rotate the rib cage, the torso, that counts, not where the arms or the shoulders end up. Exhaling into the twist, inhaling, holding and lengthening the spine. So we'll come into Baddha Konasana, bringing the feet together. Hands loosely interlinked under the feet, but we want to keep the chest open, so if that's not happening, if you're bowing forwards a little bit, then try holding onto the ankles instead. Working the knees down towards the floor, keeping the upper body lifting. Just settle here for a few breaths. And then we can stretch the legs out, take the feet as wide apart as is comfortable. Upavista Konasana. We can begin with the hands behind, we can just hold that position. Or bring the hands forwards, maybe walk the hands forwards, trying to keep the upper chest open, lower back long. Some of you may be able to reach the toes. Wide-legged forward bend. Lifting back up on the inhalation. And then coming back to the starting position into the semi-supine position. Feet a little bit closer to the body here. We're going to move up into the bridge posture, Setu Bandhasana. Working up and down with the breath a few times. Inhaling, press down through the feet, push the knees away. Peel the spine up off the mat. Exhaling, lowering back down. And then we can hold the lifts, if you can, interlacing the fingers under the body. Work the shoulders a little bit closer together, and then working to achieve lifts in the pelvis, breathing into the upper parts of the rib cage. Keeping the chin lifting. You should be able to insert your fingers or a pencil underneath the neck at this point. So we can finish with an inversion, perhaps a half shoulder stand, or you could do legs up the wall or legs on a chair. Feet flexed above the eyes in half shoulder stand, or another option coming up into the full shoulder stand where the hands are pressing into the lower back, pushing up through the balls of the feet. Again, keeping the chin lifting. You can hold this for as long as is comfortable for you before bending the knees to roll back out. And then finally extending the legs, coming into Shavasana. Allowing the feet to flop out to the sides, arms by the sides, palms face up. Allowing the breath to settle, slow back down to a natural rhythm. Bring the body back to stillness at the end of the session. Eyes closed, and staying here as long as you wish.